Good afternoon, everybody. I am here to present our paper titled Environmental Performance of Island Countries, a Basis for Best Fit Models of Environmental Sustainability. I am with Professor Isidro Max V. Alejandro, and I am Dr. Jojo Marti Sanchez from Cebu Normal University presenting. Introduction. The environment is one of the three key areas of sustainable development. Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, of the United Nations are directed to the physical environment, where countries are aligning their goals to SDGs to provide safe and secured place for people to live in. Providing sustainable place to live in proves a challenge to the government of island countries, which are vulnerable to natural forces that could threaten their survival. This could affect the environmental performance of these countries. Studies have analyzed environmental performance of countries using the people and economic aspects of sustainability, but there is limited studies for one dimension, the environment. With this, the study explored environmental performance of island countries in terms of economic, social, and environmental factors, determined the relationship of these factors, and used the findings of the regression models formulated as basis for the development of best fit models of sustainable development. And here is the conceptual framework of the study. We have environmental sustainability, which will be measured by environmental performance. And there are three dimensions affecting environmental sustainability. We have people, economy, and the environment. And the people dimension will be measured by the Human Development Index, or HDI. Then the economic component will be measured by GDP, or gross domestic product. And the environment dimension have variables such as green growth, GG, ecological footprint, EF, climate risk, CR, and disaster risk, DR. And here is the methodology of the study. Exploratory data analysis was employed to determine the association of several indicators of sustainability to the Environmental Performance Index of 38 island countries in the world, namely the HBI, GDP, GG, EF, CR, and DR. To determine the effect of people, economy, and environmental factors to EPI, the data on HDI, GDP, GG, EF, CR, DR, and EPI are subjected to regression analysis using genetic algorithms. Data science application is utilized to determine the best fit model equations to be represented as EPI as a function of the independent variables HDI, GDP, GG, EF, CR, and DR. And here are the findings of the study. We start with the Human Development Index impact to the Environmental Performance Index. So we have here the output row graph and the model graph, as well as the regression model equation, and lastly, the R squared of the regression model. And the R squared of this particular HDI-EPI relationship is 0.83, meaning 83% of future variances are accounted in this particular model. And what do these graphs mean? When HDI of an island country increases, then its EPI also increases. This means that when citizens are able to do desirable things for their country, then they are able to contribute more to environmental preservation mechanisms. Another dimension is economic dimension, represented by GDP, or gross domestic product. And the regression model has an R squared of 0.91. And these graphs illustrate that there is a direct proportionality relationship between GDP and EPI of island countries. This suggests that when there is an increase in the national income of countries, then there is a corresponding increase in their environmental performance. Now let us proceed to the different environmental dimension variables. Firstly, we have green growth development or productivity or GGP. And here are the graphs, the equation model equation, and of course the R squared, which is equal to 0.91. And these graphs show that there is a fluctuating relationship between GGP and EPI. This fluctuating relationship could be due to the changing context of the economy-environment interface, as well as the gradual shift of island countries to greener technologies in economic productivity. Another one is ecological footprint, and the R squared here is 0.93. There is an increasing trend of environmental performance index when ecological footprint increases until EF is equal to 6. Beyond this point, the EPI has decreasing trend. This shows that human consumption at a greater rate of natural resources indicates an increased environmental performance until such time that there will be scarcity of resources, thereby eventually lowering EPI as EF continues to rise. We also have climate risk with an R squared of 0.55, stating that when climate risk increases, then your environmental performance also increases. This means that when a country is less affected by natural disasters caused by climate change, its ability to perform in the environmental aspects of sustainability increases. And lastly, we have disaster risk. And the regression model has an R squared of 0.33. This means that EPI increases as disaster risk decreases. This means that when island countries are very exposed to natural disasters, their ability to preserve and mitigate the environment is greater than those very vulnerable to such natural hazards. And from these findings, the following conclusion is formulated. Environmental sustainability of island countries is affected by the people's environmental awareness and resource consumption, nations' wealth and way of living, and economies' green technology utilization. Exposure, vulnerability, and susceptibility to natural disasters may have affected many aspects of sustainability of island countries. However, the government's formulation of effective and efficient preservation and mitigation programs, coupled with the people's awareness of and responsibility towards the environment, describe environmental sustainability. And the study recommends that effective environmental education, increased government and private sector collaboration on environmental research and policy making, and efficient implementation of research-based programs as interventions of island countries in maintaining and improving environmental performance, thereby leading to environmental sustainability. And here are some of our selected references. Thank you so much for listening, and you can read the full paper at the APJMR website, https://bit.ly/3psibay. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead. Thank you.